Hello, figments of my imagination. I've made no secret of my search for a long-term game I can sink into. I've followed dozens of upcoming games, only to be disappointed in some way after every release. A few times I've even revisited past flings, like with New World's seasonal launches, but this time I might have had the game I craved just sitting in my inbox. Way back in October, I purchased the Bizarre Founders Pack. The only thing I knew was that it was basically another deck builder utilizing auto-battler mechanics. I fully intended to try it out, but to put it mildly, life very much got in the way. It was a rough couple of months to round out 2024, and honestly, I forgot the game even existed. And that would have probably been the end of it until I left a Twitch stream running overnight and returned to find someone playing it. I had nothing better to do after the whole Dune debacle, so I searched my email and downloaded it. And I've been playing it all month. When I'm not playing, I'm thinking about playing. I see different plays and combos in my dreams. I planned on doing this video weeks ago, but the thought of spending my free time not playing this damn game felt horrible. Needless to say, I might be slightly addicted. So what is it? Well, it bills itself as the first hero builder, but in reality, it's exactly what I said earlier, a deck builder utilizing auto-battler mechanics and asynchronous PvP. In practice, that means that all of your meaningful decisions boil down to what items you choose to bring into a battle and where you place them. The actual combat is done automatically, with targets chosen randomly when necessary, and the PvP encounters are against the ghost of a random other player's board at the same point in the game. While the premise might be simple, the gameplay is anything but. There's a massive learning curve, a feature of most auto-battlers and deck-building games in general, but that curve is blunted heavily by the asynchronous part. Since battles are not fought in real time, you have literally infinite time to search up anything you want to know, from popular builds to how items interact with each other to what items are even available. And you can also pause at any time with no penalty, a rare feature in the world of online PvP games. Of course, perfect games don't exist, and the Bazaar is not without its fair share of flaws. Gameplay-wise, I feel like a lot of small UI improvements are needed. Currently, you're basically required to play with another window open to one of the game info sites, like How Bizarre or BazarDB, as critical information is hidden, such as what items PvE encounters can offer, and how an item improves if enchanted. I feel like this info should be readily available in-game. They did introduce upgrade previews with the new season, which is a great step forward for in-game information, but for now, these community-made resources are still practically essential to play, which will probably make the eventual mobile client a little awkward. Speaking of, there is currently no mobile client, but with the way the game plays, remote play via your phone is a possible option. People have also gotten it to run on the Steam Deck, but an internet connection is required to play. Another complaint is that it doesn't really feel like a PvP game. Without the ability to influence other players, at times it feels like a single-player game. Personally, I like that, but I can see how some people might be turned off. That being said, I do wish we had more opportunities for counterplay, such as a way to get a glimpse at our opponent's board or maybe even see a single item. Currently, the only counterplay that exists is guessing possible archetypes your opponent might have based on the hero they are. While there are some small advantages to be gained with that info, I'd like to see more opportunities for information in the future. The other massive problem is the monetization structure. Now, like I said, I only started playing last month, so I can't speak to any previous builds, but from my research, the monetization used to be absolutely horrendous. That being said, while the current structure is better than the horror show I read about, it does still have some flaws. First, I'll explain the system before I comment on it. Every month there's a new season, accompanied by a season pass. The pass itself is free and awards loot boxes, cosmetics, and expansion packs. When a season ends, the season's expansions are automatically unlocked for everyone, regardless of past progress. There is a monthly subscription for $10 that gives you double experience and double reward chests from Ranked. There is a premium currency, gems. It can be purchased in $5 increments with no discount for buying in bulk. Each gem is effectively worth 1 cent, at least in the US. Gems can be used to unlock expansions early, unlock new heroes, or buy cosmetics from the store. They're also used to access Ranked, with each Ranked run costing 100 gems. I feel like it's also important to note that Ranked runs reward chests, which themselves contain gems. Finally, there are 2 cosmetic slots in the store, one that rotates daily and the other weekly. They can be purchased directly with real money or for a much higher price with gems. So let's start with the most obvious critique. Playing Ranked costs gems. Obviously, to a large number of players, a Ranked mode is essentially the game when it comes to PvP. And when I saw that you essentially had to pay to play Ranked, at first I was very against it. But in reality, I think the current system is actually pretty good. Under that system, Ranked costs 100 gems and awards a chest at 4, 7, and 10 wins, with an extra chest at each milestone for subscribers. Each chest has, on average, 45 gems and a cosmetic. That means that to, quote, go infinite, a free-to-play player would have to 10 win very consistently, as even 7 wins means they have lost gems. Now, that grind looks pretty harsh, but there are a few other factors. First, the season pass exists and awards chests, so some gems will come from that. Second, everyone gets a free ranked run every day, another opportunity to get gems. Finally, chests can also have ranked tickets, allowing even more free runs. Obviously, the grind looks a lot less punishing if you subscribe, which is clearly the goal with the current payouts, and I think that's fine. It's like an incredibly low stakes month long gamble. If you know you're going to play a lot and you can easily average over 7 wins a run, then subscribe for a month and bank a bunch of gems. And of course, if you're out of gems, playing unranked is completely free and still rewards past progress, and therefore gems. However, the biggest flaw in the monetization, in my opinion, is how unlocking expansions works. Currently, they're locked in the season pass with an option to buy them immediately for gems. That part I'm kind of okay with. If people want to spend money to unlock something faster in a free-to-play game, especially one like this, I think that's okay. I don't love it, and I wish there was a heavier focus on cosmetics instead, but I can see the need. No, my actual problem comes from having the ability to not unlock an expansion, at least until the season ends. Since every expansion adds additional cards, every shop becomes slightly more diluted the more expansions you have. That leads to an obvious choice. Do you unlock the new expansion to play with the new cards, or do you leave it locked so your deck building becomes more consistent? This issue actually came up with the last season. Dooley's dinosaur expansion lacks synergy with the rest of his builds. In fact, since it also adds an additional core, it can sabotage some of his strongest builds by lowering the odds of being offered to weaponized or ignition core. This led to people just skipping the expansion to improve their odds. Personally, I think the expansion should be forced unlocked when you hit the appropriate level. Of course, like I said, in my ideal world, the expansion would be unlocked immediately for everyone instead of being time or money gated, but that probably won't happen. And one final word on monetization, the shop. It seems like they're trying to lean into FOMO. The items in the shop show that they have a limit and the weekly drops apparently rotate forever. Honestly, that seems like an incredibly dumb system. While I'm sure they'll snag some people who are on the fence, I think they would probably make significantly more sales by just offering more things in the shop at once. You want me to spend money? Cool, let me buy a Dooley skin, that's who I'm playing now. Oh, the daily item is just another stupid rug? Yeah, no thanks. Guess I'll check again tomorrow if I remember. I just honestly don't even get the logic, especially with the one time and it's gone weekly items. One of the main reasons cosmetics work is because you see your opponent using it, then you think, wow, that's cool, I'd spend some money on that. An impulse purchase. That's basically the entire monetization structure of the best free-to-play games in the world. But with this system, if I see a cool skin or rug or whatever, I can't do anything with that information. It's probably not in the store, it might not ever be, and if it finally does make it back, I probably already forgot how cool it looked that one time 30 games ago. I hope they fix it, but I'm worried they're already locked in since they've been selling these quote limited items for a while. Alright, so final verdict time. Obviously, I'm hopelessly obsessed. I said as much right at the start, and I'd recommend everyone who likes any sort of deck building game to at least give it a shot. It scratches a very unique itch that I didn't even know I had, and I look forward to scratching for a while. And that's it. Obviously, I've been playing the Bazaar all month, and probably will next month too. I did briefly consider sinking 1,000 hours into Dune so I could drop a second review roasting it, but then I remembered that I don't hate myself. If you want to join the Flame Party, I'll link that video on the screen here, because I'm just a glutton for punishment. If you want to try out the Bazaar, I have a referral link in the description, and a non-referral link if you hate me. That's fine. But if you use that one, at least insult me in the comments too. Gotta feed that algorithm. Do other YouTube stuff if you want, or don't. I'm not your real dad. And I'll see you all eventually.